No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
Something is about to break.
We are back. Hey guys, it's 81. Well, it's not 81. It's episode 81. Ironically, the guest this week and myself were both born in 1981, although he looks 20 years younger than me. Guys, I'm so excited to be back with the show. I'm feeling better. I feel like myself. If you didn't hear episode 80, I'd encourage you at some point to go back and listen to it. 80 episodes into this show, I had my own little, I don't know if you want to call it a breakdown. I just ran out of gas, guys, emotionally and physically. My body stopped working, and had somewhat of a major panic anxiety attack. And this episode that you're about to hear was recorded before that, literally a couple of days before that. So it was interesting to me to go back and to listen to it, just see where things were at. But it's amazing how taking rest and eating better and getting exercise and meditating every day, those little practices that we all want to do, those things that we know when you do it, you feel better, even though you wake up and you go, I don't feel like going for a run today or going for a walk today. But then you do it and then you feel better. And I just can't encourage you enough that in the process of, wanting to create great art, whether that's through music or through painting or through comedy or magic shows or juggling, whatever your thing is, don't in the process of all of that make the excuse that you're sacrificing your sleep for your art, or you're sacrificing your physical health for the thing that you want to do. In this episode that you're about to hear, I contradict that, because you're hearing me right before this happened to me, and I talk about hustling and working hard and all that, and that's important. We've got to do that. We have to continue to do the work that's necessary, to keep out there, keep performing, keep doing the things we want to do. But at the same time, please, friends, please, from a guy who did not do this and suffered great consequences, please take care of yourself. You're so worth it. Today is Wednesday, July 25th. This is episode 81 of the podcast. And on the show, I have my next door neighbor, Josh Roach Durante. Josh is an incredible drummer. He's performed all over the world. He and his band Sangre are a heavy metal, hard rock band, which means if you know anything about that genre of music, the drummer is really, they're working harder than everybody else. He's a good dude. I didn't know he was a drummer when I first met him. I just, met this guy, and he's walking his dog and his daughter and hanging out and, just walking around the neighborhood. And I gotta tell you, he's a rad dude. I'm so glad that we connected. I'm so glad that we're neighbors. And I'm glad to get to hear his perspective on things. And we get real on this. There's moments in there where you might go, I don't know about that. Hang in there in those moments where he and I start to share some thoughts that might be a little contrarian to what are normally, whatever. It's good stuff. Just hang in there and enjoy it. I know you're going to love it. Before we get into that, a couple things coming up. Last night we had the Low Bar Variety Hour. Thanks to everyone who came out to that. Fun thing we're doing now. We're doing like a lottery at that show. So it's a monthly show. It's the fourth Tuesday of every month. And we are booking certain acts. So like last night we had Joel Ward and Eddie Firth, two amazing performers, two incredibly great friends for a long time now. But then we also have performers come hang out with us, and not only do you watch the show, but we'll pull names from a hat. So if you feel like, hey, I want to try out something, you put the name in the hat, and you get 4 minutes on stage. So that's pretty cool. That's a new thing that we're doing with that show. And if you didn't check it out last night, come to the next one. We'll have another one coming up in August. I leave this Saturday to head to Branson, Missouri. I will be performing at Silver Dollar City this entire next week, starting Sunday to the following Sunday, and I'm so excited about that. Come on out. If you're anywhere near Branson, Missouri, come say hi, come go on some roller coasters, and then come see me do a little storytelling and magic and comedy. I'm really stoked about this show. I'm grateful for the opportunity. So if anyone's in the area, I know I've got some friends hit me up already that we're going to connect, but if you want grab a coffee or hang out or something, let's do it. Let's go on that. They have a roller coaster now there that's crazy. It like spins around while it's going upside down, and we can go on that. That would be great. Then I go to Magic Live. Magic Live is the biggest magic convention in the world, and it is happening next 2 weeks from now on August 6th. That starts, or August 5th, I guess. I fly out from Branson straight to Vegas to go there. Then what else? I got a couple of shows in Texas and Virginia. And then the end of the month, I'm excited about this. August 27th, I will be going to Nashville, Tennessee. My first time performing in Nashville. They got a cool new venue out there I got to check out. It's called House of Cards. And it's kind of a secret underground magic restaurant. Come check it out. I'll be performing 3 shows a night there and would love to see you if you're in Nashville. I know we got some friends of the show that have been on the podcast that live out in Nashville. I may be sleeping at some of their houses. So anyway, guys, I know you're going to enjoy this show. I'm so glad that I'm feeling better. I can't encourage you enough. Take care of yourself, my friends, and let's keep riding this roller coaster together. Let's stay strong. Let's be encouraged, and let's make some good art. The world needs it. Life is hard. Life is challenging, but let's just do whatever we can to remind people of the wonder that's out there. All right, I'm going to stop talking. Sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 81, my conversation with my neighbor, drummer Josh Durante. Hey, everybody, welcome to About to Break. I'm your host, Taylor Hughes, and this week I'm sitting down with incredible drummer and even more incredible neighbor, Josh Durante. How are you, sir?
Cheers. Good to see you.
Cheers, my friend. This is weird. I love that we're doing this at we're starting at 10:45 at night.
I know. I'm horrible. I'm such a night owl.
Well, no, this is when the good stuff happens. Whenever you get to a show and they're like, we're playing at noon, you're like, this is not going to go well.
Yeah, I know. I actually read a thing one time and it talked about musicians, having to perform during the day, worse. Your brain is suited to where you play gigs at night.
Right.
You're for years of your life, everything's at night. So then all of a sudden try to do that during the day.
Yeah.
You just suck.
For years, man, and I think it is because most of the shows happen late at night. But then there's also that thing of you play late or you perform late, and then afterward you're so amped up. I don't know if this happens to you, but I'm so energized after a show that then I can't sleep. So
For how long does that last after you perform?
It's rough, man. Sometimes it'll be like I'm doing the Magic Castle this next week. My last show ends at midnight, and it's in Hollywood. So then by the time I pack up and say bye to everybody and get home, it's 2 a.m, and I probably will stay up till 4:30 or 5. Sometimes I'm so awake at that time,
just amped from performing. I get like that.
Do you get that too?
But being a drummer and playing the style of music I play is just heavy, fast.
Yeah.
So playing 45 minutes or 50 minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's a lot of workout.
Yeah.
So
So you probably get a little
I got
tired?
about an hour.
Okay.
I even tell the guys when we're on tour, I'm like, I can't drive at night. For real. By the time I play and then I load my gear, which a lot of gear I have to outload and load all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Once I'm there, an hour later, my endorphins wear off. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I just want to sleep. Especially getting on a road in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
It's nothing and it's just a long, straight, dark drive. I just fall asleep.
Oh, yeah, man.
So, an hour, I got really in me and to get out and socialize after and do the whole song and dance.
You're okay. All right, guys. It is funny, too, how much people think, and there is some of it, but they think that, oh, you're going to be on the road and you're touring and you're doing this and it's probably just crazy. And you're like, yeah, man, I got to go sleep so I can do it the next night.
Man, yeah, or not. We did a tour with we're a Jägermeister band.
Yeah.
So we got put on
sponsored by
Jägermeister, and so we got put on a Jägermeister music tour. The first ever unsigned band ever to put on a headlining Jäger music tour. We went on with our friends Molotov, and they had bus drivers. They had a whole crew of
and you guys are in the van behind them.
And we were in a van and with no driver. And those cities that we played were 12 hours apart.
Oh,
and so
dude.
No shit, you play at midnight.
Yeah.
You check out, outload at 2 a.m.
Right.
You have to check in and load in at the next venue by 2 p.m. the next day. So you have a 12-hour drive from A to B, and you have 4 dudes in the band.
Yeah.
Or 5 dudes, and you just sleep in shifts. Okay, drive for 3 hours, and once you start getting tired, the next person that's been in the back sleeping moves up. Yeah. And everyone kind of like rotates seats until eventually, you have your turn and you sleep again. But we did the whole tour for over a month, the whole U.S. tour.
Oh my goodness.
And by like a week and a half into it, the other band, was finally just like, dude, respect. Like, we have crews and bus drivers, and you guys are beating us to these shows and still playing and hanging out after and
buddy,
managing to like put it together at least enough to get on to the next city. And
that's crazy, dude. Some of those roads too in the middle of America, there is nothing for hours.
No, nothing.
I was driving once, and it was only like 2 hours. I was going from like Twin Falls, Idaho to Boise, Idaho. And there's not a McDonald's in between the two of those places. Nope. It's just the same thing. Remember Tom and Jerry when he'd like run through the living room and it was just the same table he'd walk past?
Over and over.
I feel like that. I think I've passed this mountain.
I think it was in Idaho where we were on tour as well, coming through the middle of the desert, and there was nothing for fucking hours. And like we pulled over, and like written into the dirt on the road was like, "Die here."
Oh man!
Like, oh man, this kind of creepy hills have eyes kind of
right,
shit.
Here, but like it kind of feels like that's where it would happen.
Kansas, Virginia. You know, I mean, there's a lot of states where I remember long straight drives where we would get out in the middle of these big highways with corn growing on both sides. And as far as you could see, no cars coming, just hanging out in the middle of the street, van turned off. Like, dude, this is fucking crazy.
You ever do that thing where you're like, I'm a grown man and I'm legit scared right now?
Oh
like,
yeah, all the time. That's how I know I'm having a good time. Like, oh shit, something bad might happen. All right.
I feel alive.
I'm a little uncertain of everything right now.
Dude, you guys just went to Big Bear vacation?
Yeah.
Family vacation?
Yeah, family vacation.
Because this is, and they will have heard this in the intro, but this is the other dynamic, man. It's like, you're either on the road playing metal, like headlining tours, or you're the family guy. Like, it's a weird dynamic. We were just talking about like when all of a sudden when you have kids, everything is different.
It is, and I don't know, my singer, man, for my other band, my singer for Sangre is a beast. He sings for another band called Breweria, which is a really, really big band.
Yeah.
And they tour all the time. He has 5 kids.
Oh, wow.
Gone for months at a time.
It's rough,
man. It's rough, man. And that's the thing is people don't realize with this industry and any sort of performer,
right?
You have to get out there. You can't just do it at home anymore, and you have to go out and tour. And having kids makes it harder. You know. Yeah. Luckily, with technology, you can FaceTime. You can have phone calls. You can do this and that, and even life. Like I don't know. Even when I'm not gigging and playing, going and touring, and I work fucking late hours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get home from work till 10 o'clock. My daughter's in bed at that point. My wife's winding down for bed at that point. And it'll be almost a week where I don't see them. To where like on the weekends, it's like, all right, we have to take time to go out and do something together. And like Mondays, like today, was Daddy Charlotte Day or whatever. Yeah. And so like I take Mondays off work. We take her out of school. I just gotta have every Monday to go do whatever with her, which is cool. Yeah, but at the same time, being an artist or being a musician, you have to practice what you preach. You have to perform. You have to do your shit. You have to be able to look at your kids and go, follow your dream. Right. And you know what? I did, and it sucks. And there's sacrifices, and there's times that I wasn't there that I probably should have been, that I could have been. But at the same time, I will be there as much as I physically possibly can. And those other times that sometimes I got to go away, but I'll be back. Right. And that's not exclusive just to entertainers. Like I mean, you see guys who work office jobs who don't see their family all week long, know. And I think that it's pretty rad that not only are you doing what you need to do to be with your daughter and with your family, like when it's family time, but like you said, you're showing her like, do the thing you love. Yep. I know so many people who work a 9-to-5 desk job that they hate, or some high-powered corporate job that they hate. And it's like, man, you're spending as much time, as much energy, as much creativity to make someone else, their dream come true rather than like your dream or your family's dream, Yep. Well, and it's like the older I get, the more I realize I'm like, what's success? The whole, like... Talk about that, man. Like, man, okay... To be the person to tell your kid you might pursue your dream your whole life. Yeah. Your whole fucking life with everything that you have and everything that you can do to pursue that, and you still might not succeed. Yeah. For real, you know, whether it be sports.
Yeah.
There's only so many. There's only so many Kobe Bryants. You know, as far as like, I want to be a celebrity, big, like make big a name star,
or like have money in the bank,
make millions of dollars,
right?
And be very financially successful, right? Being an artist or being an athlete or being lots of these things,
right?
The odds of you being a Kobe Bryant, is slim to none. The odds of you being, you know, an Eminem or a Linkin Park or something like that is slim to none. There's those small few,
right?
But if you really love what you do, at the end of the day, you settle for less money because you're happy doing what you do, and you don't have to have that corporate job, and you don't have to sit and listen to somebody belittle you over menial bullshit. And you can kind of create your own destiny. And at the end of the day, if you're able to live a life that you're happy doing, you're successful. Yeah. You might not be a rock star. You might not be this huge TV known celebrity that everybody, a household no name or whatever.
Right.
But if you can make your living doing what you enjoy doing without having to compromise, you're successful.
That's good, man. That's and even if like you're not making your entire living doing that, but you're making the time to do that. Do you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Not saving a little bit of that time, a little bit of that energy to put into yourself.
I have friends that have full-time jobs doing all kinds of shit. And that doesn't pay all the bills. Their wife works. Mm-hmm. They have a side job.
Right.
You know, whether it be any job.
Everyone's got a side
hustle.
Everyone's
got something. You know, I mean, especially like living where we live.
Right.
You can't have a single household income anymore.
No.
You know, it's very hard to and pay all the bills and do everything you need to do. You have two people working or one person has two jobs and the other person's home with the kids or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's a necessary evil here nowadays. You know, when we grew up as kids, we didn't have that.
Oh, no. We
had at least somebody home with the kids at some point during the day.
Right.
And you were able to be a single family and buy a house, purchase a house on a single, like your dad would probably work and mom was at home for the most part, or at least like in the 80s, from what I remember for the most part, most of my friends, their parents, dad was working, mom was at home. Right. When we got off school, their parents would be at the house, at least one of them, if not both of them.
Oh, yeah.
Way more than now when you don't have, you have to have two parents working. When your rent's $2,000, $2,200 for some tiny little house, you know, I mean, it's crazy as shit. And I mean, we don't live in San Francisco.
No.
I have friends that are in SF, man. And I mean,
how do they do that?
They don't. They fucking struggle. They struggle until they leave.
But buddy, that is so good that you're saying that, because you know, you see all the people on Facebook and you're like, dude, he's living in Manhattan. He's living in, he's living in the city up in the Bay.
How long?
Yeah.
Or I mean, it's all relative. A lot of I got this job making this much money. Yeah, but look at how much it costs you to live there. Right. You know, versus, okay, you live here in the Inland Empire in most areas. Right. You can have a nice house for $2,000 or so a month, whatever. So if you're making, a little bit more, it's not that bad. But to live in LA or Manhattan or, some of these areas, is just like, holy shit.
But even even the, spending $2,000 a month for a place is crazy to most people. Like throughout the country, it's like,
oh yeah,
and touring, like, I could buy several houses.
Man, I tell my wife I tell my wife all the fucking time. I'm like, so you can buy a 2-story 4-bedroom house on 5 acres in Iowa or Ohio for fucking $80,000 or whatever, and in Texas, and eventually I could see retiring in a place like that. I remember my first time going through Tennessee on tour, and I I was really high. I smoked a lot of hash, but it was like a Mark Twain. Like these people had these private little old boat docks that came off their property with like a little fishing boat.
You're like, dude, this
and
is
that's on their property.
This is like what Disneyland's trying to create,
dude. For
this is the real
at night. There's fireflies and shit. I was like, holy shit,
they're not even on strings.
This
man.
is real. Holy shit, this is fucking real, right? And like, oh, he paid $63,000 for that.
Isn't that crazy?
But then you step back for a second, and you're like, what else do you do here? Where do you go?
We have a bowling alley, slash roller,
if you're fucking lucky, yeah. we got out in one gas station in Arkansas, I think it was, and I walked in and I just asked the lady, which, first of all, looking how I look in most places in the country is not cool. It is very seen as offensive. and people don't want you.
Do you feel the looks from people?
Oh yeah. I just don't get out in some states.
Really?
Depending on where I'm at.
Wow.
There's definitely been plenty of times on tour where I'm like, yo, homie, grab me a fucking candy bar, pack of whatever, like just good old boys in the middle of the South, or white people are honestly more racist than a lot of the other people, but just depending on where you're at, just people so far behind where they just look at you like, holy shit.
Well, growing up in SoCal, like I realized I was sheltered in a different way. Like I mean, we grew up just with everybody.
You're in a bubble here.
Everybody from everywhere. I mean,
you go to Disneyland and all the parents our age are tattooed.
Yeah.
To see tattoos on people's arms or necks is not uncommon here.
So then when I got older and started traveling for a living, it was like, oh my gosh, like everything I've heard about different places, people really like look at you differently, or like even just hear you're from California and they're like, that's the worst place ever. It's like, well, first of all, there's only 4 of us that grew up here. Everyone else is from your state and they came to California.
Okay, so I'm going to throw you under the bus. What's your craziest worst state? Like if you were to throw a state under the bus and be like, fuck this state.
That's rough, man.
It is rough.
It's hard to say.
There's quite a few on that list I could throw under there. But.
Well, I had a really, and I have not been all throughout. Whatever. I'm going to stop trying to talk myself out of it. I was in the airport in South Carolina.
Yeah.
And I was just minding my own business in the airport, and this is when Trump came on, like during the election, and this is when he came up and said like. That was when all those ladies were accusing him of like he did
grabbing
this, or he said that yeah. And he's getting up and it's like a big deal. He's gonna respond to these allegations, and he said something along the lines of, "Look at her, I wouldn't go for her. Like she's not, you think I would make a pass at her?" And I was shocked. I was like, "Well, that's it. He's done. Like you can't say that about people on TV." No one who's ever been the president talks like that about people, right? And then all of a sudden, slow clap in the whole airport.
Shit.
And people were like, that's right. That's how you do that. That's how you stand it. And I was like, get me on this plane now.
Dude, for fucking real.
I couldn't believe it. I was just like...
Oh, I believe it.
So disconnected from like people's emotions or feelings or...
anything.
Yeah.
Dude, Florida. If I had one, dude. I'd say build a wall around Florida. Fuck Mexico, dude. Florida needs a motherfucking wall around that shit. The most racist people I've ever encountered in my life were from Florida.
Yeah, it's so hard, man, because you're like, well, I don't want to say a whole state's bad because then it's like me doing the thing I don't want to do. No, most of the expexperices I've had there.
That's true, because I have had good experience in Florida,
right?
But it wasn't in the a large part of Florida.
And the part they talk
areas.
about,
man, holy shit, Waffle Houses and racism are a fucking abound.
Whoa, dude.
I swear to God, I've been in a lot of places and I've been in a lot of situations. And I'm pretty cultured. I'm pretty street smart. Been there.
Yeah.
Me and my bass player were standing, smoking a joint in the garage with some people at this place, and man, holy shit.
Near the Waffle House? Or no?
This was after late night at the Waffle House, but like the crazy racist shit that were coming out of these people's mouths.
I can't believe it.
Me and my bass player were looking at each other just like jaws on the floor, like picking them up, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And all of them just matter of fact, and like even at the Waffle House too, like blatantly, overtly very racist shit. To where like, this is regular here? Like, if you said this back home in LA, you'd be shot, homie.
Right.
Like, that's not cool. Yeah. Like, you don't say that. But back there, that's just how it is, know? Or like, we were in West Virginia. I remember this, like, we were at the venue, and the promoter called a landline to get a hold of us. The bar guys, hey, where's the Sangre, whatever.
Yeah.
So brings this cord from through the fucking kitchen, like out through the club, on this long ass cord, this 25 fucking foot angle cord,
like they were prepared
to write down this fucking phone number, and nobody has cell phones, We're the band from LA all sitting around the table on our cell phones. Right. Everyone else is just looking at us like no one owns cell phones. People actually bought CDs of those gigs. I'm real. Like, everyone out here wants everything fucking downloaded.
I just love that, like, you were explaining all the different ways that these people didn't include technology, and then you're like, they actually bought the merch.
Yeah, they did. But CDs specifically, like,
right.
have CDs. Like, in LA, we could have fucking 1,000 CDs.
Yeah,
and
like, what are these, coasters?
How do I download this?
Yeah, how do I put
Where's my download card? How do you send this to my fucking phone?
Isn't that crazy, man?
It is.
I mean,
I'm old, man. Like, I grew up before that shit. Like, for real.
How old are you?
I'm 37.
Dude, we're the same age.
Right.
I just look way older than you.
Let this grow out a little. I got lots of gray hairs.
Really?
Thank my wife and daughter for that. But yeah, like, I grew up. I didn't get my first cell phone. This is honest to fucking God.
81?
Until
You're
I was
81?
81.
What's the
Class of 99.
Yeah, buddy.
Fuck yeah.
Look at that.
But I grew up. I didn't have a cell phone until me and my ex-girlfriend split up in 2004?
Yeah.
2003?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Some shit like that. But I never had a use for one.
Right.
I had a home phone. I had an answering machine. And I still work at the same place. I've been in the same place I worked for 20-something years.
Yeah.
So you could call me at work if you needed me. Right. You could call me at home. I had a pager. I had a Motorola fucking pager or whatever, but I never had a cell phone.
Yeah.
It was very late in the game where I was, 20-something years old, single again, and all my friends were like, you have to get a cell phone.
Right.
Like, this isn't gonna fucking work.
Yeah.
Like, you have to, like, I've always like no credit cards. I'm gonna do everything cash.
Yeah.
That's changed too. You can't do that anymore. You can't not have a credit card and not have bank accounts and not have, but yeah, so I was late to the game, and so like the whole Facebook, Twitter, social media thing, I hate it.
Do you hate it?
I fucking hate it.
Yeah. You do it because you have to?
If you look at my Instagram, my last post was probably 7 years ago.
You're like...
My Facebook, the same thing too. And I don't post pictures of my daughter, and it's not because I don't love her, and it's not because... It's because I had a choice to post that shit in a public forum growing up.
Yeah.
Why am I going to go against, and all of a sudden my daughter is going to be old enough to be like, well, I don't want that.
Yeah. Dude,
well, sorry, it's already fucking out there, and all these creeps and all these people have been lurking on your shit, and I made this page because I had nothing better to do than to brag about you and show you off and need other people's reactions to it. It's like, dude, I had a great day with you at the beach.
Yeah.
Heart touching. Like, I look at my daughter, I'm like, holy shit, how do I love somebody so fucking much? Like, I love that kid so fucking much, But, like, I don't feel the need to go and get other people's gratification on social media from it. I don't need to feel the need to post all the photos and get your likes. And
buddy, that's
not to say that I don't like that. And if you like my shit, that's rad, dude. And I'll like yours too sometimes. And sometimes I won't when I don't go on the shit for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But, like, the whole social media thing to me is just alien.
It's rough, man.
It's hard.
I had a friend this week that was like, in like all honesty, was like, I'm off Facebook, guys, because I'm freaking addicted to it. He's like, I spend more time looking at what other people are doing than thinking about what I want to do, and I just need to get off it. And for our girls, man, I mean, my 10-year-old, from the time she was like 5, she was like, I'm not having that. And so my wife and I are like, you get to veto. Like, the kids get to veto. We won't post anything without approval from the whole family. Because like you're saying, dude, we don't have 30 years of research of what it does to a kid when you have a personal, like, father-daughter moment with them and then blast it to the world.
Yeah.
We don't have research to show what that does to a kid.
Well, and it's like, what are you doing it for? Are you doing it for the moment? Are you really having that moment to be there, or are you doing it for the picture and the likes?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're a piece of shit parent that you want to post these fucking picture perfect moments and pretend. I read an article and it talked about the correlation between teen suicide rate and social media use over a 20-year span. And look, basically like the very beginnings of like the early
like
Zanga, MySpace, and basically went on from there. And it almost correlated exactly. Wow. The amount of teen suicides and suicides in general, but especially teen suicides, increased corresponding exponentially with the development and use of social media sites.
Wow.
Because now you have all these people comparing their lives to all these lies and bullshit stories of what people think their life should actually be.
Like
these
over-filtered, like
key moments that are embellished and over elaborated on that don't necessarily exist. And then you have these people gauging their lives on it and feel unfulfilled and whatever it is, or they don't have get enough likes. They don't get enough attention. It's just, I don't know. I think the kids growing up nowadays is scary, man. I think about when my daughter's growing up and what's valued and it's like, fuck all that shit. Fuck it. It's not important. Like, be yourself. Be an individual. Wear that. I let her wear the craziest shit, dude. My wife fucking... I drive my wife crazy. I'll send her these pictures. I swear to God.
She's like, she put herself in this and I'm taking her to the store this way.
Oh, I love it, dude. I'll get her dressed and she looks good. She's got some matching shit on at least. Somewhat. And then she'll come back in 10 minutes later. I'm like brushing my teeth and she's like, I didn't want to wear what you wanted, Dad. I'm wearing this. and it's like some fucking horrible shit. Where I'm just laughing and I'm like, oh no, baby, really? Yeah. She's like, this is what I want to wear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I was a kid wanting to wear I wore kilts to school.
Yeah.
And dyed my hair and have mohawks and whatever the fuck weird shit because I wanted to be that individual.
Yeah.
And you know what? It built up my self-confidence enough to be like, fuck what everyone else says. If you're happy and you're good and this is what you like, you're not hurting anybody else.
Yeah.
Embrace it. I don't give a fuck what it is.
It's so good, man.
At the end of the day, we live in a free country. Do what makes you happy. If you don't hurt somebody else, I don't care if you want a gay marriage, if you want smoke weed, if you want this, if you want that. That's your right.
Right.
As a goddamn free citizen in a free country to do those things. The second you start hurting somebody else and enforcing your beliefs or other things on other people, then you cross the line. But for yourself, you have the right to choose those things.
Yeah.
Second, somebody else tells you otherwise, fuck off. Go to a country that's not a free country where we don't have the right to do those things.
We were talking earlier, just as we were walking in, about the fact of we stayed out of a lot of trouble because we had an outlet.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about social media, one of the things that came to mind is I feel like, at the risk of sounding like old dudes, I feel like so many young people, they don't want to actually create anything. They just want to make something to post.
Yeah.
You probably see this with at shows. When I was a kid, we were at shows every night of the week that we'd go to a show. We were going to a show. But now I feel like people don't want to go to the show. They want a picture of themselves at the show.
Or they want to watch it on YouTube. Or they want to, man, it's funny being a band because you would think California is the melting pot. It's the Mecca, right? Mm-hmm. This is where you want to play your shows. And going on tour, when you come home in California, those are your worst fucking shows.
Really?
For sure. Because we're jaded in California. You can see any major artist, any genre, any act, any night of the week. Who do you want to see? Let's go to fucking Hollywood right now. Let's go see Marilyn Manson. Let's go see this person. Let's go see, you go to, Barnesville, Ohio.
Yes.
Have you been to Barnesville?
No.
I thought you know that Barnesville's fucking amazing. But yeah, you go to these little towns. Dude, I swear to God. Okay, we pull up in this town.
Yeah.
Barnesville, Ohio. Yeah. Sleepy old town. Mm-hmm. Seriously, I'm like, we're fucking playing here? We're a metal band and we're playing here? No shit? Sure shit, we're playing here. All right, cool.
Yeah.
No one around. I mean, population fucking 6.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they're known for growing the world's largest pumpkins. You know, when you see those fucking giant pumpkins on the back of semis, that's Barnesville, Ohio. That's what they're known for, homie. Yeah. That's what they know all about. So we fall asleep in the van.
Yeah.
Pull up in front of this club. We're hours early. Fuck it, let's take a nap.
Yeah.
We fall asleep. We wake up and there's a line wrapped around this building.
Dude.
What the fuck? They're like, nothing happens here.
Whoa.
When a band comes from LA, it's a big deal. Yeah. Everybody in the town comes out. And I swear to God, we played this tiny fucking little bar, and it was so packed. Yeah. I mean, people getting smashed up into the stage, and our guitar players holding people back. It was fucking crazy. And then you come here to California, and everyone's on their goddamn phone.
Right. Or they're videotaping it. I'm going to watch this later. You're here.
You're just not there,
You're
in the moment.
Thing.
And that's the thing is I think our society now, so many people just live not for the moment. They don't live for that experience and that memory.
Oh, yeah.
I've met so many famous people over my life.
Yeah.
I do not take photos.
You don't take photos?
Nope. And I don't want to meet my idols.
Okay, I want to hear about this. Why don't you take photos? And then I'm going to ask you why you don't want to meet your idols, which I just thinking about today.
Because at the end of the day, I just figure that those photos are only important to me.
Yeah. You'd rather...
Who gives a fuck of me showing some other person a picture of me with this famous person I got to meet?
Right.
Right? Like, and I don't want to be that guy.
Yes, buddy.
Just like you don't go to a Kiss concert wearing a Kiss t-shirt. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't go to a Tool show being the dude wearing the fucking Tool shirt. Like, just don't do it.
Dude, wait,
just
what's
don't.
that? Did you ever see PCU?
Yes.
Is that the one where he's like, you're wearing the shirt of the band you're gonna
that guy.
see? Don't be that
Don't
guy.
be that guy. Just don't. Everyone else here is that guy. Just don't be that guy.
Right.
You know? And, you know, I learned that as an artist. You know,
Right.
my drum teacher years ago growing up was like, don't ever wear band shirts on stage.
Okay.
And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
He's like, well, yeah, think about it. He's like, if somebody's wearing a Nirvana shirt
Yeah.
and you fucking hate Nirvana,
You hate that person.
you do not like this band.
Whoa, that's
by
interesting.
default.
Yeah.
Without even hearing a note of what they played.
Yeah.
This guy's already wearing a shirt of the band that you don't like.
Dude, that's great.
And I kind of took that to heart. I was young as a kid when I learned that.
Yeah.
And I kind of think about that. And when I play on stage, it's either like very just black. Most of the time I'm shirtless because I sweat like fucking. It's stupid. So I just take that shit off. But if I'm wearing anything, it's never a band shirt. It's never a logo of a company.
Yeah.
It's never, unless I'm sponsored or something by them. Like,
right.
No, because you know what? If somebody else doesn't like that, they don't like
Then
you.
by association, they're already judging you, and
They already don't.
that's great, man.
But yeah, so I don't take pictures.
And you don't want to.
I'll hang out with you.
Yeah.
I'll drink with you.
Yeah.
I have stories of fucking partying with really super famous people. That if you ever care to hear it, and we're here, we'll talk about.
Yeah,
it. You
buddy.
know what I mean? But like, other than that, like, that's it. I don't take I don't post it.
See,
I don't need your likes. I don't give a fuck. I really don't.
I've never really. There's very few times I've ever gotten starstruck, and especially like at the Castle or like in LA doing shows, you see people all the time.
Oh yeah.
And
when you told me that you perform there, that's when I was like,
yeah.
oh no shit, this guy's legit fucking real. Yeah, this guy's fucking big real.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I'm there this weekend. You guys should come.
I want to come see you at the fucking Flappers again for the milk thing. That was awesome.
Oh, that was
my
fun,
daughter
man.
had the fucking best time ever.
Dude, I had the best
rad.
time with her there.
That was so fun.
Michael Rayner, who's been on the podcast, if you guys are listening, does this show called The 2 Milk Minimum. And it's just like a family show at a comedy club. And your girl, Charlotte, right? Is your daughter?
Charlotte, yeah.
She was like the star of the show, man. Michael spent like 10 minutes just interviewing her, and that was like the highlight of the show for me, dude.
It's funny, man. She's
so
she's
great.
a natural performer. Like, she gets it naturally, like from between me and her mom. Her mom's the same way, very outspoken, public speaker. She does seminars and all kinds of stuff, but that girl gets it naturally. She likes to sing and dance and perform, and I'm like, cool, man.
Yeah.
Be the singer, not the drummer.
Yeah.
I got so much shit I have to carry and set up and break down, and the singer shows up.
Yeah.
Picks up a mic that they didn't even bring, probably.
Right.
You know.
Does she sing?
She loves singing.
Ah, dude, that's
Loves
awesome.
singing. She likes drumming a little bit, but I really don't push drumming on her at all.
Yeah.
I really don't. Like,
Yep.
maybe that's just the years of being a drummer that I'm like,
Yeah.
if I could do it all over again type thing, you know. But I love drumming. I'd rather be a drummer. I'd rather be the backbone. And, you know, there's only one of you. You either hold it together or you don't.
Right.
It's not like you're a guitar player that you can,
you don't get a break, man.
I can fuck around here and there.
Right.
And
No,
little
no,
mistakes
no,
you don't hear.
no.
Like, if a drummer messes up, you hear it.
Right.
You know,
it's like the drummer and the sound tech are the only guys that if they screw up, everyone knows.
For real.
And a lot of times you don't get any credit.
No, for real, you don't. And,
Yeah.
and I guess I'm always like a natural leader. Like, you know, the businesses I run, I'm the boss or whatever. And I'm a very natural leader. So like being a drummer is great because you get to be the leader.
Yeah.
But you get to have the president, which is like the singer. That's the real kind of leader.
Yeah.
But they're also the front face of everything. Because it's like, if I want to play this song slower tonight, guess what? We're playing it slower. Because I'm the drummer. and at the end of the night, what I say goes. And if I want to play it faster,
right,
y'all are playing it faster.
Right.
There's only one drummer.
Yeah.
So the drummer is the boss in a lot of ways.
Yep.
But at the same time, like the singer is the face of it. They're the president. They're the one that gets to get up there and do the whole charade. And, you know, I just sit in the back behind my drums and my cymbals and kind of do my thing. And But it's funny, though, because I don't see a lot of the shows. You know, the drummer's view is not that great.
It's true.
I'm
It's like
staring at
literally the
my
worst.
guitar player's back and my bass player's back.
It's like
and
the worst seat in the
some
house.
singers, like, at least I'm sitting down the whole time. But
Yeah,
you don't get to see a whole lot of shit.
Yeah. I hope you're enjoying this episode of the About to Break podcast. 3 quick ways that you can help us out here at About to Break. The first one is to go on iTunes and leave us a review. If you enjoy the program, please leave us a 5-star review. Big thank you to everyone who's already done that. If you haven't yet, please jump over to iTunes. You'll need your iTunes account information. But you can click on the podcast, leave us a 5-star review. Just leave us a 1 or 2 sentence little blurb there. Let people know what you like about it. That helps us out huge. Second way you can help us at About to Break is by becoming a producer. Our goal is to have 1,000 people giving at least $1 a month to help offset the cost of producing these shows. And it does take time. And it is a passion project. I will continue putting these out for free because I think it's a helpful conversation. But anything you can do to help us out by producing the show would be awesome. Go over to abouttobreakpodcast.com, click on Become a Producer, and see what that's all about. Last thing that you can do, and this one is also a real simple way of making a difference, is just sharing the podcast. All right, when you see it out there on social media, on Instagram, Facebook, go ahead and follow along and then share it with your friends. Let someone else know how much you liked it because it sure does make a difference. All right, back to the program. I want to hear about you not wanting to meet your heroes. I literally was just thinking about that this morning.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I have a lot of friends that would beg to differ.
Yeah.
And just being in the music industry, I've kind of learned you have these people in your life, whether they be movie makers, whether they be writers,
right,
whether they be musicians,
yeah,
that their shit's just super influential on you.
Oh yeah,
whether or not it was just an album that got you through a super hard time,
right,
or like for me, like I'm a huge like Maynard fan from like Tool and Perfect Circle and Pussifer and super huge. Like I'm not very nerd about a whole lot of people, but like, love Tool, love Perfect Circle, love this shit. Don't ever want to meet the guy. Yeah, because what he is in my head,
yes, buddy,
probably does more for me at the end of the day than what the reality is that he's a human being.
Yeah, you're never gonna be happier about it. You're never happiest now about it, just with what he's given you through his work.
Yep,
and the what he's put out there for people to see.
And in my head, what I think he is, and what like. These things.
Yeah, I don't need to go to Chipotle with that guy. No, that's not going to make my life better.
You meet somebody and they're having a bad day. Or like, I've met fans after shows where I'm fucking tired, dude. Yeah. My wife is texting me at home, mad at me. Right. And I'm across the country and I'm dealing with some shit and I can't do fucking anything about it.
So now you're not at home.
My interaction with that fan that wanted me to sign some stupid shit or wanted me to do something, now it's bad. And now I'm an asshole. And it's not that way. And it's like, I'm sorry, this wasn't about you. This was about me. And and it's hard. And I understand now that like musicians are people. Yeah. Actors are people. Right. Comedians are people. Right. We all have shit going on in our lives. Yeah. We all have families. We all have kids. We all have bills. We have jobs. We have all this shit. And at any given day, you might meet somebody on a good point. You might meet somebody on a bad point. You never know. Right. But if I was to meet Maynard, for example, and he was a dick, it would crumble 25, 30 years of like these albums and this music that I've grown up with, you know, or whatever, where it's like, oh, this guy's a dick, fuck. Right. And you know what? He very well could be. Yeah. But to me, it doesn't matter at that point because I don't know the guy personally. And all it matters is their music and their art that they create. Right. And that could be with anything. That could be a comedian. Right. You could have these amazing comedians. Right. And in their personal life, the dude's a fucking douchebag. Oh, yeah. But you know what? If you didn't know the guy, his art's amazing. Right. You know, and separating the two is like, you don't need to be fucking friends with everyone. Right. You don't need to be buddy with everyone. You can beg to differ. You can have different views and different opinions and still appreciate the person for their perspective. Once you see that other side, it gets harder. So it's like, I don't even want to go there, you know? Yep. And you know, as an artist, like you work on a song or you work on a project and you pour all this time and energy. And then even when you figure out what you want it to be, then you're going to spend hours and hours and hours practicing to be able to get your body to do the thing that's in your head. Do you know what I'm saying? I've learned to just accept the level of my suckiness at any given point in my career. Which, you know what? Like, I accept how much I suck right now. Yeah. And there's lots of drummers that I look up to that are amazing that eventually I'll get to that point. You know? But, like, as an artist, you can't keep re-recording an album. You can't keep redoing a painting. Like, you just have to accept at that level, at that time, where you're at, your ability. Yeah. This is my level of suck right now. And that's okay. And this is good. And this is where I am. And in 5 years from now, hopefully I'll be better than this. Yeah. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be better than the person I am today. Which, whether that be your art, or your moral development as a fucking decent human being, maybe I'll be better tomorrow than I was today.
But you're not going to deny where you're at today.
No, not at all. Yeah. Learn from where you're at. Recognize your shortcomings.
So good, man.
You know, I mean, you don't learn from fucking people patting you on the back.
Oh no.
You learn from the times where you're fucking humbled on your knees and you know, just kind of, I don't know. Right. Those learning lessons in life. I don't know. My wife and me have different views on like teaching my daughter, for example. And I'm like, fuck it. Let her burn her hand. Yeah. It sucks. But you know what? That's only going to happen one time. Wow. Yeah. You're going to fucking learn it. Yeah. You know, and there's times where it's like, I let her fall down. I was out here the other morning. It was funny as shit because the neighbor was just laughing at me. And Charlotte was like, she's never had rollerblades. And like, she got these rollerblades and she's been like wanting to like roller skate and rollerblades. So I'm like, all right, I'll take you out there. And let's go out here, fucking hang out. She starts skating and like falling on. I was just holding her the whole time, basically, right? But she finally gets it. And the neighbor's out here just laughing because she's like going once or two and running out and grabbing her and catching her really quick. And I'm like, she's learning. Like, today she was fucking doing it perfect, you know, the whole time. Yeah,
I think sometimes we want to protect them too much, and then we forget that is part of the learning process, man.
You do. I busted my ass all kinds being a kid. Fell off bikes, fell off trees, fell off shit.
Well, and it's not that you're not going to teach them. You're going to give them the warning, don't touch the stove because it's hot.
Numerous times.
Right, yeah. It's not that you're not going to do everything you can to prevent it, but then you also realize they're going to learn when they fall on their skateboard. You're not going to try to hold them up the whole time.
Nope.
You know?
And really, like, the times you hold them up, they don't really learn it. Yeah. The times when she fell, when she was trying to skate, you know, whatever, those are the times where she realized, like, oh, you're right. Butt out. Yeah. Lean forward. Yeah. Like, she kept leaning back. And I'm
Nothing
like,
shows you how to catch yourself like falling without catching yourself. You know?
But then I remember, I'm like, man, I was a kid going to like Skate Express and like different like skate classes, like when roller skates were a fucking thing before rollerblades came out, you know. I'm like, man, that's so cool. And
Skate
then,
Express, is that in Chino?
Yeah.
Yeah. Skate Junction was in Covina.
Oh, yeah.
Before that shut down.
And then there's like Skate Plus Plus before the person got stabbed there, right? That's what happened. Yeah.
Dude.
It happens.
It happens, you know.
It happens in a society like this, dude. Yeah. You know, we didn't grow up with that shit. And it's funny, like, in my opinion, like, I don't know, I could be barking up the wrong tree, but everyone's like, it's guns. I'm like, that's funny, because when I grew up, guns were even more prevalent than they were now. Yeah. Less stigmatized. More prevalent. Yeah. Everyone had guns, and there wasn't school shootings. Right. But you know what? There wasn't a fucking generation of kids packed on fucking Zoloft and Paxil, drugged up on antidepressants, disenfranchised and disillusioned because they're in debt from student loans. Yeah. They're underpaid. They're overworked. They can't buy a house. Yeah. They can't do shit. You know, I mean, it's different, you know, like when you look at the big picture and you see why people do some of these things that they do, the drastic things, and even big shit like me and my wife, like Anthony Bourdain. When
Dude, I was just going to bring that up.
Killed himself, man.
That tore me up,
Certain people, you know, like, of course, like any close friends I've had in my life that have done that, it affects me personally, of course, but with celebrities, not so much. Like, I realize, like, the difference between a celebrity and they're not my friend, they're not nothing, but like the singer of Soundgarden. Yeah. Man, I've grown up with Chris Cornell. Right. You know, when just recently Vinnie Paul just died. That was, you know, he had a heart attack and died in his sleep. And at least that wasn't by himself. But Anthony Bourdain and Chester from Linkin Park and like all these different people or whatever. And it's just crazy.
Yeah. We've had two really well-known magicians at the Magic Castle in the past year that have happened. And it's like, what's crazy is even like, I mean, Anthony Bourdain, you hear interviews with him weeks before where he's like, I mean, that guy he didn't BS anything. No. But he was like, I'm happier than I've ever been. Yeah. And it's like, I think, you know, when you talk about, you know, safety and guns and all this stuff, it's like, yeah, do whatever you need to do to protect people. But we're forgetting the mental issue. We're forgetting the emotional, mental health of people. And we're not addressing that at all.
No, not at all.
And yet we're continuing to have a 24-hour news cycle and social media and all these things that are literally just designed to make us more tense and stressed,
fearful, paranoid. Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
It's tough, dude. It's stinging tough.
Yeah, it's crazy seeing like the amount of suicides and the amount of like these people that we kind of like.
It was like 800,000 last year. It's almost 1 million people.
It's a lot. But then like a lot of these like celebrities, like one of my friends posted, and it was a little post or whatever, but it's like, if a person that's worth $300 million can kill themselves, imagine what a person that doesn't have any money feels like when they're depressed. It's like, oh, dude, for real. Like depression's some real shit.
Right.
And suicide's real shit. And like when you see these big people like Anthony Bourdain, like when that happened, I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
Like he was always the super cynical, super sarcastic, real dude that was out there.
Yeah.
It was funny because like all my tattoos, a lot of these ones are all done by the same guy that tattooed Anthony Bourdain when he went to Borneo and had a bunch of shit done. And you see all this stuff that he has done, but still at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But then I always argue Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, some of these people. Okay, this is fucked up, and I'm sorry, everyone. I apologize now. I'm starting to feel buzzed, and this is probably not the most PC thing, but all right, hear me out. Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, some of these people should have probably offed themselves before they got to the point that they did.
Ooh.
And that's hard to say.
That's rough, man.
But okay, where is there to go from the top? Where else is there to go? Down. There's down.
See,
and there's the whole fucking shit show charade that goes with it. Which when you look at these people that have been immortalized, Janis Joplin,
right,
Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison,
all 27 years
drunken,
old.
Belligerent asshole that couldn't fucking do anything as far as like the band was concerned.
Right.
You look at all these people, Kurt Cobain, all these people that have been immortalized,
right,
because they went out when they were at their zenith of their career, the height.
Yeah.
And left people wondering. But then you look at people like Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson, when I was a fucking kid, Michael Jackson had people being carried out in the audience just from seeing him.
Yeah.
Shit was no joke worldwide. Whether you were in fucking Japan, China, fucking Australia, Michael Jackson had girls crying, fucking passing out in the goddamn front row. Michael Jackson was the king of pop.
Yeah.
If Michael Jackson had went out when he was the king of pop, they'd have fucking statues built of the dude all over. Yeah. But what do you remember about Michael Jackson?
Right, all the
pedophilia,
and all that
child
stuff,
molesting, plastic surgery, this and that. You don't remember any of the good stuff. Mm-hmm. Whitney Houston. When I was growing up and The Bodyguard came out, that bitch had fucking 13 goddamn awards in her arms, more than she could hold.
Yeah.
I mean, the top of her shit, she was fucking Whitney goddamn Houston.
Right.
What do you remember Whitney Houston for? Yeah. Smoking crack and getting beat up by Bobby Brown. Had Whitney Houston went out at the top of her career,
right?
What would and that's the argument with these celebrities. Is like, where do you go from the top?
You're not saying they should have.
I'm not saying they should. I'm not saying they should.
You're talking about
themselves.
like with Anthony Bourdain. It's like, well,
and not even with Anthony Bourdain. But it's like, where else do you go?
Yeah.
What else do you do?
Well, it just
with him, it's like, man, you've been so many places. I honestly, personally think with him, and I'm sure I'm fucking wrong, it was probably over some stupid shit with a girl. The whole thing that was going on with Asia Argento and all that stuff, he probably just got caught up in it. And I mean, honestly, most suicides are over some impermanent situation, over something stupid shit like
momentary
that.
Decision,
more times than not, especially with somebody like that had kids that was saying relatively, I'm happy, I'm doing. I mean, he had the best job in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You get to travel over the whole world, go meet these indigenous people and these cultures and try these foods and do this. I mean, how rad is that? You're getting paid millions of dollars to be the CNN spokesman for fucking world travel. I mean, that's next to being a National Geographic photographer.
Right.
I mean, if you're a photographer, what's your goal? I want to work for National Geographic.
Yeah.
I want to go travel the world and
wow,
get to take fucking pictures there. I mean, it's hard to say that somebody would be unhappy doing that, but I guess if you do the same thing all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
He's done it a long time. I mean, what else is next? The same thing I did the day before, whether it be comedy, comedian stuff, musicians.
Well, and this is this scary part, and this, I mean, totally ties in with why we even have this podcast, but like, that's the danger of living for a milestone or a goal. or saying, like you said, this is success.
Yeah.
Because it's like if your entire life is pursuing this line of financial success or this line of notoriety or this line of fame and you get to it, then what?
Yeah.
Like if you're only living to get to that mark, then what? You know?
What's the point?
Right. And what are we doing, again, to put it back on ourselves? What are we doing as individuals, as consumers of art, to support artists so they don't feel like their value is done when their career is at its peak?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure. You know, and it's funny, like driving earlier back here, I'm like, oh, I wonder what kind of fucking questions he's going to ask in this podcast.
No
like,
questions.
You never know, you know? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, the whole, like, who's your favorite drummer? You know, or who's your favorite? It's hard to say because, like, really most of my favorites are, like, people that I feel inspired by or local musicians.
Yeah.
That are not
most
signed.
people don't know.
That
Yeah.
most people that don't know.
Right.
That I know personally that I'm like, dude, this dude is a badass.
Yeah.
And he is out busting his ass playing fucking all the time.
Yeah.
Into these clubs, and really this dude's way better than
Right.
90% of these fucking signed guys out there.
Right. When you figure out how the music business works and it's like, oh, he had skinny jeans on, so we booked him.
Yeah.
We wanted a guy with dreadlocks. You didn't have dreadlocks, so you didn't get the gig.
Or like anything, I mean, really, like when you look at a majority of most of the stuff now that's done in Hollywood, you have a very small handful. Like I'm talking 4 or 5,
Oh, yeah, man.
you know, musicians that really, those are the higher guns.
Yeah.
Those are the people.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen that?
That documentary on Netflix?
Dude, it's great. So
it's
good.
Totally. Yeah, and they're
But-
like, 12 people played on every album you've
Dude,
ever loved.
For real. And I have friends that are hired studio musicians that do the same thing. You know, that, I mean, it's a lot of it. But now it's different because now they don't have to pay a computer to play their fucking parts. So drummers, for example,
Yeah.
you know, growing up, my goal was to be a studio drummer.
Right.
That's what I want to do. I don't necessarily want to be a touring drummer.
Right.
I want to be the dude I want to be Josh Freese.
Yeah.
I want to be the guy, Kenny Arnoff.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw Kenny, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know, like some of these people, I want to be that studio drummer in LA that's doing all this
Right.
stuff. And now it's so easy to do everything on a program
Yeah.
with drum machines and drum loops and drum programs to where even myself personally, when I go into the studio and I record stuff, I watch these, you know, producers turn everything into samples and MP3s and turn it into WAV files and turn all this shit.
You're like, oh, we like this
and
one
I'm like,
verse. We're going to cut that and paste it.
why did I bother learning 3 months of learning this fucking bass line?
Mm-hmm.
I could have had you create this by cutting and pasting it 5 times faster.
Dude.
Because at the end of the day, that's all you're doing anyway.
Right.
It's all digitized. It's all processed. It's all, you know, put down to a grid and and quantized and made perfect.
Right.
You know,
Pro Tools, man.
yeah. Which, like, when I grew up, that shit was on a tape. Dude, on fucking,
Yeah.
you know, maybe when we
Right.
got lucky, we
Oh,
had
yeah.
a DAT, a digital audio tape. You know, but
we
I
got
mean,
4-track, the little Tascam 4-track.
Yep.
No, do it again, guys.
You play that shit.
Do it
live.
again.
It's like the old Zeppelin recordings. Like you hear the bass
Dude,
drum pedal
don't you love
squeaking.
it? Don't you love it though?
For sure.
They were even dude, like in the 90s. They were doing like on K-Rock was doing like a 90s weekend not that long ago. And I was listening to some of the stuff that was like playing when we were in high school and I was like, dude, you can hear the mistakes.
Yeah.
And you know they didn't intend that, but they just left it.
Yeah, because
And nowadays
it,
you listen to anything today, it is so perfect.
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
It's horrible. It's bad. I have a thing when I go into, because producers love it. They want everything quantized to a grid. They want to sample your sound,
Right.
fucking
Yeah.
100% with the sound that was on the latest Green Day album, or whatever it is, you know. And I'm like, you know, when I grew up, when I was a kid, I learned to tune drums,
Right.
how they sound good, how I like my drums
Right.
to sound.
Yeah.
I want my drum sound on the fucking record,
Yeah.
you know, and like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
very
yeah.
adamant of like, okay, I can, you know, give me 25-30% fucking sample with 60% real drum,
Right.
a blend, something. I
Yeah,
work
yeah,
with them
yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit, but at the same time, I'm very adamant. I'm like, I don't want my shit sounding like a fucking
Yeah.
computer played it, because you lose the human emotion.
Right.
You know, it's
do.
like you have, in my opinion, with musicians, you have technicians and you have musicians.
Right.
Technicians are the people that play everything note by note, can read the music or little shredders, this
Right.
and that. And then you have people who just fucking feel it.
Yeah.
that get up there on stage.
You can feel the difference, man, when you're listening to music.
Jimi Hendrix was a fucking musician.
Yeah, he didn't have a clue what chord he was playing.
Hell no. And he didn't know what anything was time signature. Yeah. He ate a bunch of acid and played some fucking great music. You have some of these people, and then you have some that are just prodigies that went to MIT that know all of the chords and notes and sweeps and this and that play everything perfect. Yeah. And that's great too. But I've always loved the musician aspect of it, of losing yourself in the music and almost being a spiritual thing, whether it be, like a trance in a drum during a tribal dance of some, but that, like, the Soulfly. I remember when I grew up hearing Soulfly for the first time and, like, hearing that super heavy tribal drum sound with, like, the riffs and just going, man, this is fucking awesome. Yeah. But, yeah, that's the music. That's what it does for you, Right? It's crazy.
You start to, I think even now you notice a difference with guys who learned how to do stuff without the budget and the money and the tools. Guys that could, like, with a roll of duct tape and some paper towels, make their drums sound insane. Like, you can... Dude. Those guys, even now, with the tools, are so much better because they're like, no. If you do this and this and this...
Well, and the good bands still do. Like, Tool, big influence. Tools still records on reel-to-reel.
Right.
They still go to Disney and get their old reels of tape and record analog. Oh, yeah. And then, they'll mix digitally and they'll go on Pro Tools and mix everything and do all the magic on Pro Tools. But they still record analog to give it that good, solid sound.
So good, dude.
But people nowadays couldn't handle a lot of the old analog, like Pink Floyd.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Fucking classic album.
Oh, yeah.
If that was released now, it'd be a flop.
Yeah, people would be like, it's
well, no one listens to the whole album.
Yeah.
No one has the time or the patience for that.
That's true, man.
People want a track. When we sell songs, we sell songs. We don't sell records.
Right.
Most people don't listen to a whole record anymore. How many people do you know that put on a record in their beginning and play track 1 through track 13 in its entirety?
Yeah.
They want to pick and choose. I like track 1. I like track 5. I like track 9. I'm going to play those couple songs and fuck all the other ones.
Yeah.
It's very, rare in our society now with our attention span because of technology and all this shit. A lot of these great bands that we grew up with, if they were to come out now, people wouldn't receive them.
It's crazy, dude. I've done that with even like, so I've never been a Bob Dylan fan. Like old school Bob Dylan. No, I've always like, I just don't get it. And his voice is weird and whatever, right? And then I realized the other day, I've never listened to an entire album. I never listened to a Bob Dylan album, so I picked like an obscure album that people don't ever talk about. And
Which one?
Called Planet Waves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no album. Yeah, it's great, dude. So I listened to the whole thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I get Bob Dylan. Like, I listened to the whole thing he was doing in that season and with the band, and it was like, oh. And
you have to understand where the recording was at that time.
Yeah.
The reason this sounds like this shit was recorded fucking, however many years ago. You listen to the whole record and you get it.
Yeah.
By the time you get done with it, you're like, all right, I get this old fucking groggy sounding, motherfucker. I get it. Right. But same thing like Tom Petty.
Yeah.
And I was listening to Tom Petty the other day. I'm like, man, goddamn. Tom Petty was so great. So great. Horrible loss, and it sucked because I really wanted to go see him when he played at the Forum right before he passed.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't get tickets, of course, and then he passed. I'm like, that's one of those guys I really wish I would have saw. And I always said I wanted to start a Tom Petty cover band. Everyone loves Tom Petty.
That would be awesome, man.
And all you got to do is play the greatest hits album. That's all you got to do.
And you don't see Tom Petty cover bands. You see like really it's all Beatles or
Zeppelin or like you don't see a whole lot of Tom Petty. Like you get somebody good that could do the singing, could do like the harmonica playing
stuff,
and like man, that'd be great. You just play the greatest hits album every night. You're good. You make a few $100 and you're
right.
Good. Which is way more than what you make being a fucking metal band. Because being a metal band, you definitely don't fucking make that.
We were talking before, man, about like those nights where you're just like, well, I really hope we sell t-shirts because I'd love to get a Taco Bell burrito after the show.
Fucking putting out a tip jar in front of the stage where you're basically essentially begging those people to please give you money.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy.
But that's cool too, and it's humbling. It's fucking humbling. And I think like that's what a lot of bands don't get. It's like, man, go out on the road.
Right.
Be out there where no one gives a fuck who you are and they don't know who you are.
Oh, yeah.
Struggle through it. And And at the end of the day, it makes you a better performer.
Right.
Sure, it's going to suck. You're going to have your hiccups. Shit's going to go out, whether it be, you know, whatever, dude. The drum falls over, the fucking mic goes out, the sound guy this, the power this, whatever.
Everything that can go wrong will
But
go
you
wrong.
hack through it, and it's like an apprenticeship with any other industry.
Yes.
You have to go through that, and you can read about a map of San Diego or Europe or whatever. You could study it for 50 years.
Yeah.
Does that mean you've been there? Fuck no.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
You got to be there.
You got to be there.
experience
You
it.
got to experience it. You got to go through those problems, deal with those situations, deal with those hiccups. And then you know what? In 10 years from then, even though you're playing the same club, you're playing it at a whole nother level of professionalism. Because when you first played there, it was breathtaking. I can't believe I'm playing here.
Right.
Holy
the
shit.
gratitude,
Look
the
around.
thankfulness.
We're playing at this venue. Holy shit.
Right.
And then you play it 10 years later, and you're like, we're still playing the same fucking stupid club.
Yep.
But then, like, you look at it and you're like, yo, fuck, barking orders.
Yeah.
You know, I want my DI with this. I want this sound with this. I want this.
Yeah.
And you look at the level of which you're performing at those venues at. And, you know, maybe you're not opening now. Maybe you're mid-level or headlining or whatever. And, okay, I'm making progress. I am moving up in the echelon of these artists and these things. And you see these people you look up to and you realize they're a lot older than you think.
Yes. You think like, oh man, I'm 30 and I'm not doing it, or I'm 25 and I'm not made it. And it's like, do you really, dude, for comedians, freaking Rodney Dangerfield, like one of the most legendary comedians in history. That cat was in his 30s and couldn't make it.
Yep.
And had a
getting
family.
Turned down by all the major. Yeah.
Had a family and was like, well, I guess I'll go get a job. Went and sold aluminum siding till he was 47. And 47 years of age came up with the character, the no respect thing. At 47, he started doing that, and then it took off.
Yep.
And if that sounds discouraging to you, stop right now. Like if you don't want to do this because you love it, then stop. Like if you're doing it for fame or money, it's such a stupid idea.
Yeah.
There's so many better ways to make money.
Dude, for real.
But because here's how you know you should be doing it, is if you do a gig. I did a gig. Here, I'll talk about it on the podcast right now. This will encourage you because everything looks greater online. On social media, it looks awesome, right? A few weeks ago, I played Atlanta. I sold out the show. It was so fun. It was killer. I post this picture, sold out show.
I saw that. I saw that, yeah.
It's freaking rad looking, right? It's in this legendary like music venue there in Atlanta, and I used the room and I sold it out. It was awesome. Guys, after the venue got paid, I made $14.
Fucking it. That's the best $14 you ever made. Though,
I
right?
freaking had the time of my life.
Yep.
And a show before where maybe you're making, you know, money that's going to pay your rent. Yeah,
whatever,
dude. It's like,
yeah,
oh, this
400,
is going to
500,
this is going to offset like my mortgage for the month, right?
Yeah.
And you're just like, I can barely stand that I'm doing this. And then you go perform a show where you make $14 and you're just like, I can't imagine doing anything else with my life.
Yep, for sure. Most of the big shows I've done have been that way.
But if you look at other people's stuff online and go, oh man, he's got it so easy and he's traveling the world and he's doing this and that. It's like, no, if you don't do it because you love it, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever your business is, if you don't do it because you love it, you're in the wrong thing.
And most of my friends that have been very successful, if you were to document their entire journey, you know, highlight the shitty parts of it and everything that went between.
Yeah.
It wouldn't seem so glamorous, you know? And I mean, even my friends now that are successful, I have lots of friends that are in fucking huge bands.
Yeah.
That do this shit. They're just like thinking of quitting every day. They're just like, really, man, it's not worth it. You know, at the end of the day, once everything's paid, once I get my per diem and I get this and that,
right?
I make $400 or $500. I do this, I do that. You know, sure, I get a hotel room, I get this and that. But after a month or 2 or 3 of being on the road, what I've spent, what I come home with, the shit I have to deal with,
the amount of hours that
I can work at fucking McDonald's to make more money,
right?
You know, like it's not. But at the end of the day, that's who you are as an artist. That's your call. You know, and I mean, That's what all of us have. Whether we're doing a podcast in a shed at fucking 1 in the morning,
right, bro?
Or whether we're playing some shitty dive bar in fucking Iowa, for the bartender, the security guard.
Yeah.
I've done that more times than I could count. And I don't know if it's something to be proud of, but I've definitely played my shows where I'm like, literally right now, there's the sound guy right there.
Yep.
The security guy at the fucking back.
Dude.
The fucking bartender right over here that's looking at us like she fucking hates us.
Yeah.
And one other person that happened to be a random straggler that they can't get out of the bar because they're drunk, or whatever. And like, but those are your dues.
You do it.
That's what separates the person that is a newbie that's never been on the road and never put in their dues versus the person that's done it and been there and experienced those things and kind of, been out there and about. But it's crazy. Like,
it's so good.
I still have it easier in a band. You're a comedian. That shit's fucking hardcore, man.
Oh, dude. A band is hardcore, man. But at least you're not alone.
I'm not alone. I get to hide behind the back and sound and all this shit. You get to get up there with a microphone. Try to make everyone laugh.
Jeez.
Solve everyone's problems in the room and make them comfortable. That's hard. That's why it's always crazy when I see like these comedians like Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Like some of these people like that kill themselves. And you're like, man, like you give so much of yourself. Yeah. In your career, as a passion. Like, my brother's always told me as a piercer, every time you hurt somebody to do a piercing, whatever small, as an earlobe, an eyebrow, that person's paying you to hurt them.
It's crazy.
And you, in some way, there's an exchange of that pain and that energy and that transfer, and it accumulates over time.
You feel it.
You kind of feel it, and it takes its toll on your body. And like comedy, I think, in a lot of ways, is the same way.
Yeah,
you give a lot of your soul. You give a lot of yourself that, on a subliminal level, in your art, in your jokes, and all these things. That you look at Robin Williams and you look at where he was and what he's given and what he's been, and you're like, I get it. I don't condone it. I don't understand it, but I get it.
It's a weird thing feeling lonely when you're in front of a crowd.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's also weird because when you're a funny person as a career, you have to go out sometimes and try to give people an emotion that you're currently not experiencing.
Yeah. If I get unhappy and tired and sick.
Or you know that your wife's at home having a hard time with the kids.
Yeah.
And there's something going on and your mind is there, but your body is in another state. And you have to go on stage and
do the monkey dance.
One of the best things that has helped me, apart from just having other friends and family and being open with where I'm at any given moment. I was doing some therapy for a while, which for the longest time I would be like, who needs therapy? And then I did it and I was like, this is the best thing ever.
Oh yeah, no, therapy's great. Yeah.
Like my therapist, she said to me, she was like, because I was explaining to her how I would feel. I'd be like, I go and I do these shows and people have a great time, and then afterward I just feel awful. And she told me one day, she was like, you're giving all the joy you have to other people. You need to save some of that for yourself.
Yeah.
You need to save some of that and just be like, this bit, it makes me think of Goonies, bro. You remember Mouth, bro?
Fuck yeah.
Friggin' in the well. Yep. And he's like,
this is for me.
Yeah, this was my wish.
Fucking me. Yeah.
My dream.
Yep.
And I just feel like, you know what, man? Like sometimes and this may be wrong. There's guys that would disagree with me on this. There's sometimes I'll be on stage and I'll think of something like an ad lib that's funny and I'll just hold on to it. I won't say it. I'll just keep it.
Oh yeah. See, I'll spit it out. I'm the dude that like, fuck it. I'm just coming out.
But you know what I'm saying? But then it's like, you know what? At least there was that little bit of like, okay, it's not all just for other people. You need to have stuff that's for you and take care of yourself and your family and all that jazz.
Oh yeah, I have a little picture of my daughter, basically, like when I'm on tour and when I'm away and playing, taped on my bass drum. Nobody else can see it. It's like right above my fucking leg, or whatever. But it's just something that I can look at when I'm playing, and I'm like, even though I know she's at home sleeping right now, like this is what I do it for. And one day I'll be able to look back and be like, yo, look, I did all this cool shit,
right?
And you know what? I never made $1 million doing it. but I got to travel the world.
Yeah.
I got to do this. I got to have all these experiences. But you know what? I followed my dream.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. If you want to be a fucking doctor, if you want to be a scientist, or if you want to be a musician or a comedian or a painter or a writer, you know, my wife, fucking amazing writer. You know, she works for this big national publication and writes stuff all the time. And it's like, it's funny because I look at her and the stuff that she goes through, and I just laugh my head. I'm like, it's like the same thing for me writing metal music.
Yeah.
And my singer's talking about like fucking killing somebody or something gnarly or whatever. But like the process of editing, of writing and editing and honing and critiquing and until you finally release something and accepting your level of suckiness at the point and going, fuck it. Okay, you know what? At this point, here. Yeah. I'm going to put this out and I'm going to leave it alone. Yeah. Because I'm sure Van Gogh would have went back and changed some of his pictures if he could have.
Right. Yeah, we think that these guys that we epitomize, you know, Van Gogh or Michelangelo or Leonardo or any of the other Ninja Turtles. We look at these cats and we're like, oh, that was what they thought was perfection. It's like, no, they had a deadline just like you do. Yeah. At some point they put down the paintbrush and we're like, well, that's it.
All right, this is the amount of suckiness I am right now. Right. You know, and moved on and that's all you can do in life. I think that's a big thing is like, just realize, man, like we're all fucking human. Yeah. And we're never going to be perfect. Yeah. You were perfect before you were born. Yeah. And you'll be perfect after you die.
Buddy, that's great.
In the time that you're incarnated here into a human body, you're not. We're imperfect beings. We have to learn. We have to grow. We have to evolve. We have to change. And you know what? The time you figure it all out, you fucking evolve past this body. You know, and like you move on past this. Yeah. And it's crazy. Like that whole... Just thinking about that whole part of it and like watching kids grow up and like watching my daughter. You know, before I was just a fucking musician, dude. I played music, I smoked weed, I drank, partied, had a good time. Now I'm like, I watch my daughter grow up and I hang out with her at the beach and I'm like trying to teach her life lessons. You know? Hey, so rad, don't be a fucking shithead. Your friend just gave you a s'more. Say thank you. Say this, say that. You know, it's funny. Like earlier today, I looked at my friend. I'm like, dude, I've repeated the same fucking thing 10 times. Right. And I'm like, it's funny because that's what my mom did to me. Yeah. I'm that same thing. My mom bitching and complaining. You know, it's funny because my daughter's fucking stubborn. She wants her shit. She's independent. She's strong, and it drives my wife up the wall sometimes. But then, like, I was telling my wife's dad, I'm like, she's just like your daughter. Yeah. She's exactly like your fucking daughter. Holy shit. Like, knows what she wants. Right. Is firm.
I'm going to get it. Yeah.
Which is great. That's great. I want a strong, independent daughter that can say what she wants and whatever. But it's funny, like, to look at it and, like, the things that drives my wife crazy or the things about herself. I'm like, she's you. Right. You realize that, right? Like, all those things that drive you nuts are, like, you right now.
Yeah. Dude, this has been so good. I'm freaking encouraged, man.
It's good shit.
It's good stuff.
Life.
We can keep talking. Let's get off this thing. How can people, I know we talked against the social media thing, but how do people find the band? How do they see what you're doing?
Oh, I'm horrible with that stuff.
Just Google you, right? You're Googleable?
You know, like on social media, like Sangre Metal. Sangre is my main band. Twitter, social media, Instagram, Facebook. It's Sangre Metal or Sangre Official.
You guys are getting ready to head to the UK.
We're going to go to the UK. We're going to do the Bloodstock Festival in August, which is cool. Crazy, it's like playing like Judas Priest. Like I grew up.
Right. Isn't that wild, dude?
Like Gojira, like some of these really big bands. Like it's cool. It is cool to get into these European festivals because there's a lot more people. Right. They treat festivals a lot better than America.
And like metal and like hardcore in Europe are just, it's like a different game, right?
It's huge,
It's just
massive. Good shit. So yeah, we're going to go out there and do that show. Yeah. And then I think we have another show in Germany and then come back. Should be releasing a new album, hopefully sometime in early next year, late end of the year. I mean, by the time we get back and get in the studio and record it and put all that stuff out, and then we'll be back to the local scene circle a little bit, do LA, do San Diego, Ventura, Vegas, you know, all the kind of local outlets for all that stuff.
So guys, go check them out, follow them, like them, do whatever the thing you're supposed to do
Sangre,
so that you can see where they're at.
Sangre Metal. Sangre Metal, Official, Sangre.
I'll put a link in the show notes so you don't even have to Google, you just click on
Roach Life. Yeah, all that good stuff.
Awesome, buddy. Appreciate you, man. We'll keep talking. I'm going to turn this off.